So I did that video on persistence, but persistence is kind of only one little piece of the puzzle. Like, what good does persistence do if you don't know who it is that you are and what you're trying to pursue? Like, the first piece to the puzzle is identifying who you are. What did God create you for? What gifts and talents did He give you? What intent do you have on this earth to help glorify God? And it's easier said than done, realizing who you are and what it is that you can do with that to make a positive impact. Like, a lot of us either A, don't know what it is that we're good at, or B, we know what it is and we feel like it's more of just a hobby or kind of a useful skill, or not useful, useless skill. And it's kind of this brainwashed idea where we're kind of told that we got to work a 9 to 5 and fill this role not within the kingdom but on this earth to be able to make the wheels keep spinning. And yes, it's true, but we're not beings of this earth. We're God's creation, and we have a bigger role to fill. And part of that is understanding who you are and what you're created for. You know, God didn't create each and every one of us the same, and He did that for a reason. He gave you something that somebody else doesn't have. Well, yes, you know, say you're a musician, maybe there's another musician, but each musician is completely different from the other unless they're ripping off another musician. And just as so within the kingdom, God's given us each a role, a very specific role to fill and to be. You know, in like 2 Timothy, Paul uses the example of utensils within the kitchen. He doesn't say within the kitchen, but he gives the example of utensils, you know. Like, you look at like a fork and a knife and a spoon, they're all vastly different. They all have their own purpose within eating your meal. Like, you don't use your spoon as a knife and you don't use your knife as a spoon. I mean, you could, obviously, but we tend not to. And it applies just as well within our lives and within the sphere of the kingdom. Like, find out who you are and what it is that you can do to use those skills and talents to glorify God. And once you start to find out who it is that you are and what it is that you're capable of doing, use that to build upon the community. You know, we need one another, and we need to be able to lean on each other's gifts and talents to build an impactful relationship with not only within the Christian community but outside of it, you know, locally and globally. Like, your gifts, say you're in the marketing department, right? Your pastor may have a great speaking voice and he may have the most important message ever, but without you he might not ever be able to get out there, you know? And vice versa, you're the pastor, you still need that marketing department, and you still need the accountant, and you need, you know, all down the line. Each one of us plays a very, very, very important role in making a difference. Like, you can't really do it without one another. So use one another and be able to not only help yourself to find out who you are and what it is that you're good at, but help your neighbor. You know, maybe you see someone and you're like, oh man, how is it that they can do that? You know, and let them know that, and then not only let them know that, but help them find ways to be able to make a difference, right? We have to be able to work off of one another if we ever want to see an actual change. We see what this world's coming to, and it's because we're all kind of dividing and breaking away. So find out who it is that you are, and then once you find out who you are, help somebody else find out who they are, and then use those skills and those talents and work off of one another to keep that chain rolling. If you ever want to actually see a change and to actually be able to see in reality what it is that God had envisioned on this earth, not in heaven, but on this earth, then start putting it into action, you know? We can speak it all we want, but if you don't actually bring it to fruition, what good is it? God bless. Love you all.